On my lane, Mr. Do for Self himself, here with Lamore Divine. We're here at 29 Church Street at Folds Up, the Do for Self store, Mount Clemens, Michigan, 48043. I've been doing music since the 80s. I did my first mixtape in 88 and the follow-up in 89.
Okay.
As time went on, I got into the clothing. I forget exactly what year, after 2000-ish. And from there, got into the business, or the store aspect.
Okay.
The clothing basically came from the music.
Okay.
God.
Okay. Strengths of your character.
Ego. Caring.
Caring. Good. Well, not good weakness, but it can be.
Full of shit.
Okay.
Full of shit.
Okay.
Gifted.
Okay.
Gifted in the sense of we can't reproduce life without that gift.
I like that.
I don't think it merged.
Okay.
I believe, now I look at it two different ways in the sense from male or female. By the men supposed to be the protector, the maintainer, the provider, and throughout this recent history that before any of us was born, I'm quite sure the men hasn't been.
Okay.
So therefore that makes that come about, as far as the female part.
Okay.
The male part, that's just extremely crazy to me.
Okay.
The male part, I believe, is by not having that male, that man in their life coming up as a youth.
So you don't think that some people are born this way?
No.
Okay. So question is, if you do not believe that people are born this way, then why do you think that so many men in our community take the criticism and bashing from other people if they were not born this way? Don't you think if they had the choice, they would choose to be straight, to not be humiliated or to commit suicide?
Well, what I believe in that is now in this millennium we living in, the norms are new.
Okay.
So like back in my day, coming up, and I've been labeled an old head. The lady that raised me just turned 94, so I was raised with elders.
Okay.
Where norms were different then.
Okay.
So now if I'm coming up, if I'm my son at age 16, or 20, early 20s, when I was born, it's normal.
Okay, so you're saying it's normal now as if back in the day it was not normal.
Right.
But if it was normal, then why are so many men still being picked on and bashed if it's normal in our society? So technically it wouldn't be normal.
It's a normal in a sense of where it was created to be normal. It's a manipulated norm. In my particular circle, which is extremely small, it's not normal.
Okay.
I've never had a firm foundation to that.
Okay, well, not too long, there was a TV show about a little boy who, at age of 4, he believed he was someone else. He had said he lived in Hollywood, he was rich, he named over 102 different facts about a guy from the 1930s. Come to find out, the guy's daughter was still alive. Out of 102, 80 of them were correct. Okay. And this little boy claimed that he was this man. He picked him out and said, "That is me." Once he gave him a list of names, he knew which his name was. And he was so distraught because he felt like he was someone else and he did not know who he was. So his family went on this journey to help their son figure out why is he having all these old memories as if he was someone else. Now, if this 4-year-old boy knew absolutely nothing about this family, nor was good at reading, how could he have so many details if reincarnation is not true? Therefore, if reincarnation was true, then it would solve our issue about could people be born gay? Because if reincarnation is true, if I lived 3 past lives as a man, don't you think I would have male tendencies will make me attracted to women because in 3 past lives I've lived as a male?
Now, first off, dealing with the little boy, I can believe that.
Okay.
Not necessarily due to reincarnation, but some of us are gifted in different senses of being connected with different things. I can't totally explain his situation. as far as the reincarnation as somebody else, once again, like I said, it's certain things in life that I know, and there's certain things I believe, which believe implies the absence of knowledge.
Okay.
So I'm not firm on that. Now, when it comes to being born that way, now if you go back to biblical, when you start dealing with religion, be it Islam, Christianity, when you get into the Quran or the Torah or the Bible, the Injil, it wouldn't be possible if you go along with what we've been taught. And I'm not a religious person, but I study it. Now, my point is saying, if this was normal, and then as far as being born this way, and God says it wrong, God would be wrong.
Okay.
I would say Islam. I don't go by religion. I go by a way of life, which, it could be a play on words or whatever.
Okay.
But my foundation is Islam.
So you do not, if you do not accept homosexuality, then knowing that our audience will be portrayed as an acceptance audience, which will link to the lesbian and gay community, why are you doing this interview with us?
Information. I don't accept poor people either, and I'm one of them.
Okay.
I don't. Throughout the recent years, I don't smoke. I have tried it. But I don't smoke. But I've sold them.
Okay.
Certain things I'm more from around. I won't say pig. Right. It's certain things with my children I don't accept. But they have a mother, so certain things I have to tolerate.
Okay. There was a quote that we've heard. It states that acceptance is not love. You love a person because he or she has lovable traits, but you accept everyone just because they are alive and human. So would you say that was true? Not
for me. I don't accept everybody. But as far as dealing with the homosexuality, I have someone that I'm real close with.
Okay.
He's older, and I love him.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
I believe that depending on what foundation of life, your norms, your morals, or whatever, you accept things according on schooling. So if my son brought me a C, it's like, hey, you brought the C. But I'm real big on education. So if you're dumb, I can't accept that.
Okay.